Bring her back.
That was gorgeous, Brian.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
I mean,
you are not...
listen, Hugh Jackman is Australian, and this movie is Australian.
Look at you.
And so, excuse me, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
See dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie.
And Nikisha.
Where we share our love for all things scary and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Jamie is giving the Gen Z heart out to the people.
I really wanted to try and capture my youth in that moment. And I think I did it successfully.
No, yeah, I didn't question it at all.
Yeah, I always take a second to get my hands together, and then I end up looking like the guy from Scary Movie 2, and it's not a fun time. But you did that great.
Take my strong hand.
Right.
What a film.
Movie. What a film. Anyway, welcome y'all. Welcome to the chaos. It's going to be a great episode as always. Because today we're talking about the 2025 Australian supernatural psychological horror film, Bring Her Back, or should I say Grapefruit.
Oliver lost his family just like you guys.
Does he look like Andy?
He's a beautiful boy. Just needed someone that could give him special care.
You lock you in, Ollie?
He's an angel. It's a beautiful angel and does beautiful things.
Or should I say, God on high.
Oh no!
Hear my prayer.
We literally talked about that last recording, and
I know
because
I can't. Bring her back.
That was gorgeous, Brian.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
I mean, listen, Hugh Jackman is Australian, and this movie is Australian.
Look at you.
And so, excuse me, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Though, if you have not seen, just speaking of Hugh Jackman, there is someone on the interwebs that
my God, yes,
singing everything like Hugh Jackman. And my friend just introduced me to this. I don't remember, I'm so sorry, listeners, what the actual handle of it is. I'll
tell you. I send that TikTok to Kimberly every time I see it.
Oh, great. He has so many videos, but he just does everything like Kesha or whatever, singing like Hugh Jackman, and it's absolutely...
Well, he also does this thing. He's like, how a straight guy, when a straight guy has a crush on a girl named like Janine, it's like, hey, Janine, what's up?
Like, where my hug at, Janine?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because it's so true, unfortunately.
I know.
While Brian
it's so funny.
Yes. Well, Brian is looking this up. Also, if you don't even know what Brian is talking about with Bring Him Home musical theater, Les Miz, just putting that out there because some people, the Muggles might not know. So just letting you know, it was
his name is
reference.
Joey Moroff, Joey space Morof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's almost at 300,000 followers.
Amazing.
And it's
a treat. If you need
it's a delight.
It's just dead time on social media and you need a laugh, go watch it. But what we're talking about today is no laughing matter because when you're home, there's so as we all laugh, don't make me laugh
because it's not funny. It's not funny
at all. Bring her back.
I think this is anxious, nervous laughter. At least it is for me because
Yeah.
wow, what a film.
Yeah.
But this movie was directed by twins Danny and Michael Filippo. And these are the creative minds behind Talk to Me. And this was written by Danny and Bill Hinsman, and it stars Billy Barrett, Sora Wong, Jonah Wren Phillips, and of course the amazing Sally Hawkins, which all throughout this movie I kept thinking, where do I know her from? Knowing that I can just Google. But
Oh.
yes, I
Wait,
can just look it
what
up.
can you do?
And I was like, oh yeah, Shape of Water. That
Yeah,
Right.
she's the one who
Mhm.
fucked the fish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
she's a fish fucker.
Fantastical. Which what a difference from fucking a fish to fucking up children's lives, you know?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's wild. So
She's also in the Paddington films.
I've never watched any of them, and I need.
I've
to.
heard that they're excellent.
and very like tearjerker movies.
Wait,
Yeah?
okay. Would it be really
Uh-oh.
funny if we did the Paddington movies for like April Fools?
Oh,
Into it. Because I'm sure at some point we're gonna get like blood and marmalade, like the Paddington murders.
The Paddington murders. Actually, I love that idea. Someone needs to get on that immediately. That's excellent. Yes.
Oh,
So
boy.
obviously heavy spoilers for Bring Her Home if you have not watched it yet. It is streaming, available for rent or buy anywhere. And Jamie, laundry list of trigger warnings. You know, go forth whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Great start.
Yes. Child death,
Mhm.
child murder,
Uh-huh.
attempted child death,
Uh-huh. Keep going.
lots of, if you like children, don't watch this. If you don't like children,
Not
Still
fuck them
don't watch
kids.
this.
yeah, this movie is really giving fuck them kids
Yeah, fucking
In,
kid
like,
vibes.
most extreme of ways. Lots of gaslighting, a ton of
Yes.
gaslighting, especially of young people.
Yeah.
And lots of manipulation, urine being poured on someone else, also a child.
Mhm.
PTSD, like cancer, you know, like the trauma of uncovering someone who has passed away, a dead body in a freezer,
Mhm.
not feeding a small child,
Mhm.
Insides on
watching
the
said small
outside.
child. What?
Yeah.
Insides on the outside. I don't think we've said
Insides
that
on
phrase
the
in a minute.
outside, but
Yeah.
also like knives where they shouldn't go.
Yeah, knife
and-
chewing.
Oh,
Chewing.
nice.
Lots of body horror. I'll just
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get into
Yes.
it, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
The occult,
Yes.
and like possession,
Mhm.
eating hair,
Mm.
Mhm.
car accidents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you say drowning?
I think I said drowning, but drowning.
Mm. Yeah.
That's a lot. Did I?
I think, yeah. If
I
you
mean,
can sit through
if-
all that.
Yeah, if you could sit through all that and then something we didn't mention you can, then like I don't know. I think
Right.
that there's
I don't
a
know what
lot
to say.
here. There's enough here that
Yeah.
yeah.
To warn you if it's for you
Right,
or
the foster
not
care
for you.
system and the Australian foster care system specifically.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if that means anything.
But just foster care in general. It's
Yeah.
very sad thing. Great. Okay. Well, before we get into all the things, because there is a lot to talk about for this, producer Brian is going to give us a couple words.
Hello, everybody. Hi, YouTube. If you want to see Jamie's Gen Z hearts, you're gonna have to watch us on YouTube. Hello to all of the listeners as well. Thank you so much for putting us in your earballs week after week. We really appreciate it. If you wanted to put us in other parts of you, like on social media, um,
What?
at Talk Horror Pod, you can find us there. We're doing some, we do some reviews there, fun stuff like that. So, we're growing an audience there, a community there. So definitely check us out, and then on Instagram as well at Talk Horror Pod. But yeah, follow us in all those places, and make sure that you're hanging out with us because we watch the movies and it's fun, and then we talk about them, and then you can talk about them too.
Exactly. Interact with us. Comment on the things.
Definitely.
Gorgeous. Okay, well, I watched a few movies, so I got to tell you about it.
Oh, you did? Okay, what'd you watch?
I did. Okay, well, first, I mentioned this before we started pre-recording, but I watched Grave Encounters for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, another found footage that I'm just late to the game for, but I thoroughly enjoyed, just in our conversations that we have had about mockumentary versus found footage, I really appreciated that they only had the one interview clip at the beginning of this is what happened, and we are about to just show you, and the only thing we've done is just edit this for time. But everything else is just straight from footage that we have found recovered. And I appreciated, even though some of the CGI supernatural stuff was kind of like, well, okay, for me.
Sure.
I appreciated the fact that we don't find out necessarily like what happens at the end. Like, did they find all the bodies? How long were they in the asylum? All that stuff. Because then it adds to it just being an actual found footage. Like, we are not giving you any more information than what we have. So it was nice to just be like, this is what you get. This is all that you get. But also the suspense of it all, and them going crazy and in the maze of the asylum, and how they were becoming spoilers for this if you have not seen it, sorry. How they're all kind of like becoming the patients in it. I dug it. It was a fun group of people. And I also enjoy TV shows that talk about like, what is like Ghost Hunters or whatever, those kinds of TV shows. So I thought this was very clever to make a movie kind of making fun of those people and then getting into,
and they nailed it too.
Yes,
I feel like
did.
one of the positive things about that movie is that I remember, I think the character's name is Lance.
Yes, Lance.
They just nail the YouTube like aspect of it. But I understand, even though he's kind of a dick, like in between takes, like he has a believably popular YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can see where his following comes from. And like you said, Brian, I think he nailed and this is where it's going to happen, and we're going to find this.
What's up, YouTube? Yeah, totally.
And bringing in like the psychic medium that's this trained actor.
Houston Gray is one of the great characters from found footage horror movies. He's the fake medium, and he spectacular performance, great character. That really stands out to me. Like, I haven't seen it in a while, but I will forever remember that.
Oh yeah, he definitely stood out because it's, I guess he doesn't fit some of the archetypes or the stereotypes that we see in films. It's like you have the leader or the final person, and you have the guy who's like, fuck this, I'm trying to get out, like the muscle, like the black guy that was in, I forgot what his name was, trying to like get out and get to his family. But then you have Houston over here that's kind of a bit of a comedic relief in a way, just in how he responds
definitely
to things. But yeah, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I also, just staying on the found footage, because I guess that's the vibe I had this weekend, I watched Megan is Missing. Have you guys seen that movie?
No, but I know about it.
It was a hard watch for a myriad of reasons. The top two reasons was the acting was not great, so it was hard to just sit through. But also the abuse and the over-sexualization of 14-year-old girls was awful. And
Is that
scenes.
the point of the movie, or is that something that the movie does in a gross way?
There have been arguments for both. Because it feels like they are trying to make a point, but I think they just crossed the line ever so slightly to where some of it is unnecessary, in my opinion. So I can see what they are talking about with the horrors of being online, especially because it's set in 2007. So like that's peak Jamie and I's age of, that time,
Sure.
and that was scary. And the introduction of like how you can be in chat rooms and being an impressionable teenager and, going after whatever. So I see where he's coming from, but I think the last 22 minutes of the movie, there are things that are done to those girls that I feel like didn't need to have as much screen time as they did.
Okay,
It was
fair.
too much.
Totally. I've never seen it, so I don't know. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Or
the
not.
last and the last 22 minutes are just unfiltered video, like the rest of the found footage in it, because it kind of goes back and forth between just a spoiler, but not spoiler, but it goes back and forth between actual news clips and then footage from the girls' camcorder that they have.
Oh, okay.
And so the last couple minutes is just the camcorder, and
Sure.
it's not great. Yeah, so it's a hard watch. I would say if you don't want to see, I mean, in this movie, we're going to talk about child abuse, but I feel like Megan is Missing is a different kind that I definitely would not recommend if you don't want to see that kind of abuse for especially young girls. It was very hard. A lot of talk too of being like assaulted, and even just them having a conversation without even saying it. I can't. So then I had to like cleanse my palate. And speaking of, because I already mentioned this before, but Scary Movie 2, I watched that as well.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let's bring it back, because between watching Megan is Missing and watching what we're about to talk about, Bring Her Home, Bring Her Back, not Bring Her Home. Now you got me saying it.
Bring her back.
It was too much. It was too much on the kids aspect. But yes, that is what I watch. I would suggest if you have not watched Grave Encounters, watch that. But Megan is Missing. It's for a special breed. That was hard.
Sure.
Hard to watch.
Yeah, that's been in like the TikToks of like the hardest scary movies to watch, and I'll be like, thank you for telling me. I'm gonna add it to the list of movies I'm not gonna watch.
Exactly. There's no need. Like I would not suggest it to anyone, just based on how heavy hitter it is. Yeah.
Sure.
Great. Okay, but we're here to bring her back. So let's bring her back into the conversation with plot summary from producer Brian.
Okay. Let's plot it up.
Plot it up. Plot it up.
What's the plot?
Okay. All right. You have 2 minutes on the clock to tell us to bring her back, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one shot to bring her back.
Get one shot. All right. Ready, steady, go.
Andy and Piper are step siblings. They find their father dead in the bathroom. He had cancer and he dies when they thought he was getting better. They are put in the Australian foster system. However, Andy is 3 months away from turning 18 years old when he can officially become Piper's guardian. Piper is partially blind. And so we end up being placed. They end up being placed with a woman named Laura. And there's a little boy named Oliver that is with her as well. And a lot of weird things start happening. Oliver is a weird kid. He's mute. She is very uneasy about Andy, who had some legal trouble when he was much younger. But she's really, taken to Piper. Piper is very smart, and Piper and Andy have this word grapefruit that allows them to kind of like tell each other the truth. There's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of gaslighting, but long story short, we find out that Laura is unstable. Laura lost her daughter, who was also blind, in a swimming pool accident, drowning. And she found a Russian tape that kind of like shows you how to basically do a resurrection. So what we find out is that she kidnapped the Oliver kid, basically called a demon to take his body. The demon is going to resurrect her daughter, but the demon needs a new vessel to put the daughter into. So she froze her previous daughter. She's going to put the daughter into Piper. She's not feeding the son. But Andy is on to everything, and then Andy he's being driven crazy and gaslit by all this, because Laura is lighting them like crazy. Then Andy goes back to Wendy, the social worker who placed them. There actually has a lot of plot to this one.
It does. It's fine.
They go back to the house. They discover what she's doing. Laura kills Wendy, and then kills Andy, which was a devastating moment. And then she gets Piper. She brings Piper into the pool to drown her, and then Ollie is going to, basically regurgitate the pieces he ate from the old daughter into her to bring her back. Bring her back. And Piper calls her mom, and she like freezes, and Piper's able to run away and get to safety. And then Ollie ends up escaping, crossing the threshold that she created to keep him kind of in the body. He gets help, and then she ends up taking her daughter into the pool, holding her dead daughter in the pool while the cops kind of like find her and get her. Bring her back.
And that's the plot.
That's it. Good job. Woo. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of plot.
But it's a lot of plot, but the movie never feels convoluted with plot, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I agree.
Ish. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have that as one of my little things in my likes and gripes.
I can't wait.
Woo! So let's start off with our first segment, Trick or Treat, where we let you know right off top, was it a trick, we hated it, or we don't know how we feel about it, or this was a absolute treat, 10 out of 10, we'll watch again type vibe.
Trick. Treat.
So Jamie, why don't you go first? Trick or treat?
I think this was an for me.
Yeah, producer Brian.
This is a treat for me. And I'll get into why it's not like this is a treat, but it's not an because I really definitely enjoyed it because I'm really fucked up. I'm like, I love this movie. I don't know why I
just
sound
kept
like
moving
that.
further and further to the side.
I'm gonna put this in the treat category, but I'll quantify and qualify that when we go into likes and gripes.
Okay, and I am to treat, maybe like 65 to treat, so it's not that far from the middle ground.
Okay,
and great. Okay, well, let's get into why we liked or this movie in our likes and gripes.
And now our likes and gripes.
Jamie, can you go first, please?
Oh my gosh, I would love to.
Yeah.
And something to say though, sorry, is that Jamie and I did not watch this together, so I am this is all very exciting.
Yeah. Oh, exciting. Okay, great.
Sorry.
How do we? Yeah, Jamie, how do we feel?
Yes, I watched this movie today, and it made me feel bad.
Yeah.
So things that I think are really interesting. I think that there's a very interesting portrayal of gaslighting, but like I feel like obviously there's always a power dynamic when gaslighting is involved, or like manipulation is involved in like some kind of relationship dynamic. I think you don't often see like a guardian or parental figure in that position of power. I mean, there's obviously movies that have that, but like I don't feel like it's as often, especially when like gaslighting is being utilized. So I just think it's interesting kind of using gaslighting as a trope, but like with a different power dynamic of like the figure that's supposed to be the caregiver and the guardian with vulnerable children,
Right.
which obviously like makes it more disturbing, but also based in reality. So yeah, I thought that, and like the manipulation was really interesting. I also thought that the way that Andy was experiencing his PTSD after finding their father dead was really interesting. So like there's a lot of scenes where he is very overwhelmed when there's water around, whether it's like in the shower or it's raining outside. Like you can see him clearly having like a visceral reaction and significant hesitation to like getting in the shower, or is very concerned when he's I think he's in the hospital and is like, where's my sister? She'll die in the rain. Or maybe he's in a bed. I don't know where he is, but he's very concerned about his sister because it's raining and he's not with her. And I think you don't often see that portrayed in media, like that some kind of like connection to the trauma is still present in other ways, and like that like I think a lot of times people assume that like PTSD, it's like, oh, if the same thing happens to you, or like you're re-traumatized by the same exact thing, but like you pull different adjacent things that can also be similarly re-triggering. And so I did think that this was a really good depiction of that like for him now showering is scary, for him now rain is scary, like just different like water sensations that remind him of that trauma are all like triggering him. So I thought that was like a really interesting way to depict his PTSD. And while I do think that there's like a degree of the adults not listening to children, which is one of my least favorite tropes of all time. Not because I think it's bad, but it just makes me so uncomfortable, and really bothers me. But I think that like despite there being some like not tension, but like a little bit of hesitation when Andy's like talking to the social worker and like trying to convince her to come to the house, eventually she does agree to go with him. So it's like, okay, like there is that moment, even though then they both die and that sucks. Things that bothered me, well, I'll say one other thing. The body horror in this was very surprising and very gross. Like it was very effective. Shout out to Oliver eating a knife and having it ripped out of his mouth, and like his teeth getting fucked up and like all of that. Also when he's like biting the wood table and his teeth are breaking. But the one that really got me was him not just biting his flesh, but he like rips it off like a fucking hangnail, and I wanted to die in that moment.
Covered my eyes. I covered my eyes. I couldn't do it.
I was working on a document while also watching the movie, and I was like, type. I can't look at this right now. That was horrifying. But it kind of goes into one of my gripes of like, there are a lot of things that I feel like are kind of left mysterious in this movie, which I think is a good or a bad thing. But while yes, she like was starving Oliver, I don't understand why he was like eating anything. And I don't know, like that wasn't seemingly explained by like the possession videos that she was watching, and like I just didn't understand. Like I recognize that he is like literally starving, but I'm like, why would you eat wood? Why would you eat like a knife? I don't get it. Like the fleshy things, okay, that makes sense. Food, okay, but like that didn't connect for me, and maybe I'm just being too nitpicky about like a way where they were able to like do more body horror stuff, but yeah, that just confused
But it
me.
kind of fits into like the rules of it all that we do like. So it's like you said, if it's fleshy or actual food or whatever, that makes sense.
Like he attacks her, he attacks the cat,
Exactly.
he attacks
Exactly.
himself,
The chickens.
the dead body, like
Yeah.
he's going after like fleshy things. So like why like why would you go after something that like you cannot consume?
Exactly.
And I don't mean that like, also as an aside, there is a mental health condition where there is a compulsion to swallow non-food items. And it's called pica. And it's like things that have no nutritional value. It could be like hair, it could be dirt, it could be like anything that isn't like a food. And so I just didn't think that that's actually what was happening here.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But I did want
Right.
to say that like that is also a mental health condition.
Yeah.
But my guess is that that's not what they were like going for. But I think my biggest gripe in this movie is I just felt like there should have been more trust and communication between the siblings, because like
I agree.
there's
Totally.
just something where like I can't understand how this woman that like they just met somehow is more compelling to Piper than her brother is, who like they're step siblings, but like they have this long-standing relationship. They have like a safe word to like talk about telling the truth. Like it just really is kind of flabbergasting. I don't know if that's a word, but to me that like she's able to manipulate her within that short period of time to like not have them have a conversation of like, hey, this is what happened to me and like this is fucked, like we should go.
And like I didn't believe...
obviously then the movie doesn't exist, but like I just
right
it just frustrates me because I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't believe that his one like white lie about grapefruit, about like looking at the dad at the funeral, would like
turn into
ruin their entire like trust relationship.
Yeah. That just didn't feel realistic,
especially because they did such a great job of setting up their relationship and setting up the trust. And
Piper just seems so empathetic in general that like I think that she would understand that like he's having a hard time too, and he was just telling me like, I understand that that's like, well, I can't see, so like I would prefer you tell the truth, but also like there's got to be some empathy there, which I believe that they set up that Piper has.
Yeah. Also, like she's empathetic, but she wasn't stupid. Like she was she was like, she even was like poking fun, and like that's why it seems like they established one type of relationship, but obviously there needed to be some kind of device to move the plot of this movie along, and they kind of like undermined the relationship that they set up in the beginning. So that really just made it harder to like move through this movie, because I couldn't believe that they wouldn't have just like, again, another trope that really bugs me, because I just feel like everything would be resolved is like these miscommunications or like lack of communication. It's like, if you just get these two people in a room and you're like, okay, talk, then it's over, then you're done. So again, I know that it wouldn't allow for the movie to exist, but like I feel like those are not lazy, but like they're so overdone, and there's got to be other ways where we can like still, like, it's still interesting. There's something really terrifying about this plot, but I just feel like we could do a better job than just like keeping these two people apart so they can't just get on the same page.
Also, I
But
do want to
yeah.
shout out just real quick, just because we're talking about them, those actors, especially because this is Sora Wong's first film that she's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
awesome.
I thought she did a fantastic job. I also
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that they actually got someone who was partially blind to be able to portray someone who was partially blind, as opposed to trying to get someone else to do it. So it's really awesome
Mhm.
that they gave her this chance, but also that she like rose to the occasion, because I would have never thought that this was her, the first thing that she's ever done on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just thought that her relationship with uh, the character of Andy was so well done and so believable for the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's again also like seeing guilt and trauma through the lens of like a younger person, not just an adult, and like how they're also kind of like rationalizing and understanding things, and when the people in authority roles around them are doing them dirty, like how is that impacting them and their ability to like navigate and manage their guilt and trauma. So not to
Yeah.
get too into the like brain stuff, but
Yeah.
again, like I think he did a really excellent job at like processing that, but I
Mm-hmm.
had more of a problem with just like the relationship dynamics overall.
Totally.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any other thoughts about that, Jamie?
Um No, I wrote down like using trauma against him. Like I think that was just something that like bothered me significantly of like,
Mm-hmm.
getting him giving both of them into this vulnerable space, like letting them drink in excess and then
Yeah.
like kind of pulling this really vulnerable information out of them and then using it to like separate them and create more tension between them so that she could get what she wanted. And I just didn't like that. I'm just not a
No.
fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. And speaking of just like the manipulation of it all, just to piggyback off you, Jamie, what comes to mind immediately is the funeral scene where
Yeah.
she's making
Oh,
him kiss his his father. But I
Mhm.
also was thinking, as you were talking, like, what was the manipulation tactic in that? Because you have other points of the drinking, like you said, to get information out, or even the whole pee situation, which was crazy, but just to make
Mhm.
him feel like he's not coping with, and with what's going on in his PTSD, as you mentioned. But I don't know. I didn't know what the purpose of the funeral aspect of that was. Like, was it just to hold some power over him or to tear him down more? But that was just an interesting scene. Did y'all have any thoughts about that?
um, I think it was a power thing.
Okay.
I think it was also to keep him off balance, because something that the movie doesn't explicitly state, but I kind of like think this is the case. I also think that she was drugging him in his like
Oh,
in his
yeah.
creatine.
Because she
Like,
threw it away at the end. Yeah.
yeah, but she threw it away at the end, but also the whole time, like whenever they showed him sleeping, like he had like foam at his mouth. It was like the drool. And
Mm-hmm.
then she would keep checking, like, you awake, to see if it like worked, and then she would pour the pee on him. Like,
Mhm.
I also think that she was keeping him like off balance, like really groggy. Like he keeps waking
Hmm.
up like kind of groggy as well, just to like
Mhm.
keep him to the side, because so that's something that I also think there, in terms of like it's like a whole power thing, making him like not feel like he can be a leader or a parent or a guardian.
Right. Right.
Like I think it was all a part of that, because even worse than that, calling him out in front of the sister like really pissed me off a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's yeah, and I think that's also kind of one of the reasons, just the whole trope of the adults kind of manipulating the kids was also a reason why it's in between for me. And also just to go into my likes and gripes, because I don't have much
Yeah.
more to say than you
Mhm.
said, Jamie. I think also to the gore did surprise me, and I think if I knew this was a slasher movie going into it, and that there is going to be insides on the outside, like, okay, fine, whatever happens, happens. But I think because the movie is set up more as a thriller, to have that much uh, gore and literally that whole knife scene, I'm looking like between my hands and like covering up his arm to not see what was going on. It wasn't off-putting, it just wasn't for me. I think because I just wasn't expecting it in this movie, and I think that's why it lands me at right in the middle. So it's not necessarily like the movie itself, it's just my personal preference, I guess. So not necessarily like a huge gripe on the movie, just this might have not just been for me type movie. So I'll leave it in the in between. The things that I did like, though, I truly enjoyed the acting in this movie, and Miss Hawkins, Sally Hawkins, I thought that she had an incredible performance. I thought that she, even though we all know something is going on that's weird with her, I think that her balance of being quirky at the beginning, but you're still scratching your head of what is she about to do, she really towed that line very well, in my opinion, until she went, full on crazy. I like that, and this is what Jamie was kind of talking about, of at least Wendy, the counselor, went with Andy. I also like that she actually physically saw with her eyes Oliver and what he was doing, because I also hate
I was keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, I also hate when it's the person is about to see what's going on and then they die, and I thought that was going to happen with Wendy, especially when when Andy's calling her to come down the stairs. I just thought that Laura was going to push her down the stairs.
They show her in front of that balcony. I thought she was going to push her in front of the off the balcony.
Yes. Yeah. Like something along those lines to where she couldn't see it. But I was so kind of just relieved in my spirit when they got to the shed, whatever, and saw like what Ollie was doing. And unfortunately, they still both meet their demise, but at least like Wendy saw what was happening. I'm like,
like validated in that moment.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what, because like this movie has a couple of tropes that I hate in movies. One of them is what Jamie already mentioned, the communication. Like it's just kind of not believable that they wouldn't have that communication, even though the movie works very hard to like make sure that the brother is like not in his right mind and questioning everything and all that. But the other trope that I hate is when they show up to the house and everything's okay, like everything's put back together, and then like like they get away with it. I was very happy that Wendy was like, something feels very wrong here, sees the blood, and then like Jamie said, like I just felt validated that like she knew what was going on before she died. Like
absolutely.
Yeah,
that whole scene where Laura's trying to like beg her, like let her do whatever she's gonna do, and Wendy's like, girl, get away from me. Let me take these kids.
Her tactic just like changes in an instant to be like, I have no other choice but to like try and talk to my friend who knew my daughter.
And another thing that I liked was I didn't need the whole exposition of the ritual. Like, yes, there are some rules where I was like, how does this work exactly? Like, how did Ollie become what he became? Like, but I liked that we just saw the ritual through the tapes.
Yeah.
And I think that was enough information for me to buy like what was going on.
Yeah.
So that was
and
good,
way more eerie and scary than any exposition would have been.
Yeah. It's like just enough, but to give you what you need to see how the thread, how it's all threaded together.
Totally. Totes my goats.
Totes my goats. My last thing, and this is just one of the bigger gripes, and it might just be a me thing, but it feels like the character of Laura has done so much. So for her to just let Piper go after she calls her mom didn't seem valid to me.
Okay.
I understand.
All right.
Yeah. I understand that Laura loves her daughter so much, and having that whole like, oh my God, what am I doing? But like, girl, you stole a child, possessed it, and even hit to make it seem like Andy was not fit to be a guardian.
Oh my
hit
God.
Piper to give her a black eye, which that whole scene was like, intense.
But and using the Axe body spray to smell like him was like, like so, like interesting writing. Fucked.
Truly, her whole motive is fucked. I mean,
Yeah.
and so then to just have that tiny moment of, oh yeah, what am I doing? Let me just like leave her, because it would have been one thing. I don't know why this came to me, but in the Friday the 13th series, where like the final girl puts on Jason's mom's sweater, and then like that stops Jason because he has like a hallucination of like his mom,
Right.
and like that feels more valid of him stopping his actions in that moment, even though he's going to continue to
Well,
kill.
that's
Whatever.
because
But,
Friday the 13th Part 2 is the best Friday the 13th movie.
oh, well, there you go. But in this, it's just like this one little moment, and then she just lets her go and says, "I'll just accept my fate." When you were kind of almost there, girl, like you're not fighting to the end. I don't know.
No, I wholeheartly agree. It's like you went through all that work and now you're just like, "Bump." Let you go, I guess.
I don't know. That was my biggest gripe from this. And well, that's not a gripe. I didn't want Andy to die, but I appreciate the fact that he wasn't Piper's savior in that sense, and that she was able to, in a sense, save herself and get out of that situation. But it was very sad that Andy had to die in the process. And I love their little thing about the plane taking off, and that's like Dad going to heaven, and then she sees the plane at the end. I thought it was very cute. But yeah, that was my biggest gripe, just about Laura's whole character at the end. Other than that, though, like I don't think that it's a terrible movie. It was just way more graphic. And I do want to, the last one, sorry, that I do want to bring up is I was listening to some people talk about it on an NPR thing, like a small segment about it, and they were likening the purpose of the gore, because one of the commentators mentioned that it was overly saturated with gore and it was unnecessary gore. But another person was saying that it's not like it's Terrifier, right? At least there is kind of like a through line and a purpose for the gore. But I guess my opinion, I guess, Jamie, you've already said it. It's like, it still felt a bit unnecessary. Do you feel like it added at all to it? Or was it just completely like, no, this is just for the scare, just for the moment. And it kind of didn't line up with what was happening.
Here's a secondary question that kind of goes in there.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the gore in Talk to Me when he's like banging his head? Like, is that excessive? Does that feel like it's more a fabric to what they're trying to do? Just like, I'm just comparing the two, because I don't know the answer to that. Because a lot of those scenes, because the gore comes out of the blue, similarly to the way it kind of does in Talk to Me, that's what I thought about specifically, since it's the same director. And a lot of those scenes had similar like editing technique, not editing, but like I don't know, but just something to think about.
Yeah, no, that's a great comparison, because my first thought was it felt more justified in Talk to Me than in this one. But this one also just felt gorier in general, so maybe I just didn't. Yeah, I wasn't for the gore at all. Yeah. Which is crazy because I love gore. Give it to me. But I guess just because this movie was so grounded in all these different themes, that I guess you just don't really see a lot of gore in movies that are trying to like say something or are centered around like psychological whatever. It's either one or the other, and maybe I just need one or the other and not a combination of both. Maybe the combo. What about you, Jamie?
I think that the gore like worked more effectively in Talk to Me, but I think that's partially because like there's a lot of missing information in this to I feel like explain more or like make more connections. Like we recognize that Oliver is like possessed, but I don't know, like, because he's kind of the center of all of the gore, more or less. And like, is the like demon or whatever is possessing him, causing this, or like what, I don't know. I just feel like the lack of information, it does kind of just feel like, we have to kind of sprinkle in something gross and shocking.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. I agree. Okay, that's what I had. Producer Brian, what are your What are your likes and gripes?
Sure. So I liked this movie, and not because this is like my favorite horror movie or whatnot, but
Wow, it's
I
your
just think
favorite horror movie?
no, I didn't say no, I didn't. I would much rather watch something like this that isn't perfect and feel something, even if it's bleak, than like watch another like half-assed requel. You know, like
Oh, fair. Absolutely.
you know, like
I agree
even
with
if
that.
so, this automatically, and because it's well made and it is well acted, and I was very, even though I was to me it was semi predictable in terms of like you kind of knew where it was headed. Not that the movie tries to like hide it, honestly, because I don't think the movie has any twists or turns per se, because it's just kind of like it's doling out the information and not just like surprising you at the end. It opens with the Russian video, and then you're able to put things together, so it's not like a twist per se. The reason I'm saying that is because like even though it was predictable, I was still very engaged because I thought the storytelling was good, specifically with the setup for the characters, which is why some of the things that both of you brought up were a little bit, you know, I kind of kept going with it just to stay in the world, to not take me out. But I agree with both of you that I thought that a lot of the relationship leaps that this takes um, are not always 100%. I thought some positives though. I thought the sound design in this thing is incredible. Especially because she is blind, so sound is very important to her. So you have the carpets being ripped up at the beginning, the bracelet of Wendy hitting the table, the body cart like that they can't get out with the dad at the beginning. All of that is just really well done. I like this movie jumps right in general. I also like that some characters are presented as good, or some characters are presented as maybe not so good, and then you're kind of like subverted the expectations. So, for instance, you're led to believe at the very beginning that Andy is kind of like a really good brother. Like he's lying to, you know, he tries to make her feel better, even though she knows that he's lying about those girls at the beginning, like all that stuff. But then it kind of comes as a mini surprise that he had troubles with the law, and then it's revealed that like he hit her when he was younger as his way of acting out, because that's how his dad, you know, dealt with him. I like that. I also wrote my notes, I hate her. I forget at what moment that was, but I hated Laura, like as a character.
Oh yeah.
Like sure, just because like man, it just made me like every time she did something real shitty, whether it was get them drunk and then like get the information out of him about being hit, and the abuse that he you know felt, or at the funeral at the before that, or just there's so like it just man, really I hated it.
Even the beginning when she lies about Ollie having like red curly hair and then winks at Andy, I'm like,
totally.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked I kind of liked how the body horror came out of left field in some ways. But I agree that I need a little bit more explanation around that, but I still thought it was so well done that I kind of like forgave that a little bit. Tricking children, I hate tricking children. It makes me so mad. I think it's so gross. I think this movie does it well, and these are the feelings it wanted to make me feel. So I liked it because like this is how it wanted to make me feel, and it did it. It succeeded. I mentioned the trope of showing up and the things are not there that you want them to see, but this one like paid off in that way. I also think that Sally Hawkins' performance does such a good job of making you feel enough bad for her that you can keep watching the movie, but it never feels like it supersedes her being a monster. Like her just making bad decisions. You know, but there's enough empathy and sympathy there to continue to watch it, but not enough to ever want her to do anything other than get caught or die. And then I overall I did enjoy this movie, but at the end of the day, my biggest gripe about this movie is this is so stupid. Too many people hit their heads and fall too easily in this movie. It happens so many times that it stops being believable. Like him slipping in the bathroom and hitting his head and having a concussion, and then her like running into a pole, even though she is partially blind, like running into the pole and being knocked out. it was just too convenient to the story.
Okay.
It was just too convenient to the story. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I wish that he had gone to the hospital because of how much she had been poisoning him. And then I would have believed, I would have believed her bumping into the pole at the end.
Bomping?
Or bopping, booping, bopping, or maybe he does slip in the bathroom, which I think is more believable because like of all the water stuff that we talked about in the PTSD.
Yes.
Also at that point he's hallucinating because he didn't see his dad. Like,
Sure.
or maybe he did, but it was Ollie who ate Ollie who could do the voice because Ollie ate the hair from the father.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he slipped in, and that's fine. But then you can't have her bonk her head at the end. You need to have her being subdued or drugged by Laura, in my opinion. It just two very convenient things that help the plot move along, which I did not like. I know that's stupid, but that's
that's
that.
fair.
Also, I want to learn more about goalball. This blind sport. Very interesting to me.
Very interesting.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that I just wanted to point that out.
Yes.
But I'm really glad that Andy was able to stick with. I know him dying really bothered me. This movie's very bleak. But he was able to stick with it and like really. That like voicemail he leaves for her is very I think he's wonderful in this movie. I think the actors try to make those script flaws really work and they do it well.
Yes.
But I'm glad that he stuck with it. Like he just like he paid the price, but he was able to give her the opportunity to escape more or less.
Absolutely. And he doesn't ever go, and I'm glad that the script doesn't ever let him go full force like beating up Laura or like being super aggressive. Like there's moments where they he like punched the wall but he still has a lot of restraint because he knows how important it is to keep up a good image for guardianship, and I like that he kind of keeps a level head.
And that scene where like they're tussling and he punches the wall, like seeing it from her point of view where like she wants to be on his side but doesn't know what's happening and knows that he can, like, that was really hard to watch. But again, there's just a part of me that is just like, I just don't think if they were in that dire of a situation and Andy wasn't feeling great about it, he would have like not said anything to the sister to protect her. And I just also don't think that like she would have fallen for Laura's kind of like fake bullshit. I don't know.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. Any other lasting thoughts before we move on?
I don't think so.
But in the end, she didn't bring her back.
And she didn't bring her back. But communication
After all
is key.
that,
you didn't even get to bring her back.
I also like that they do find Ollie, and he can, go home.
Me too.
Like when he gets out of the circle thing. And
bird is the word.
I'm like, bird is the word. Oh, okay, great. So let's move on to our next segment. Brains. Tasty. Gorgeous. All right off the top, we got to do it. Billy or Stu, Laura. What do you think, Jamie?
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. It's a scream, baby.
Billy or Stu?
I mean, I think that my instincts are to say more Billy because it does seem like she's planning a lot of things out. But like there are moments where I do feel like she's kind of responding impulsively. But I do think that she falls more in the Billy category.
Yes. That makes sense. I mean, to map out the whole thing with Ollie and get all that together, it's like very Billy of her to do. Okay, I know we talk about grief all the time, but I want to specifically talk about
grief in a horror movie?
Right. Sign me up. So well, I just want to talk about people's grief turning into, a lack of empathy for others. So just in your opinion, do you think this movie sets it up well to where her grief justifies her actions,
Hmm.
or is it just kind of a falling plot line that's overplayed in horror movies? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think that it's like she's just so in like down the rabbit hole. Like she is not I don't think it justifies her actions, but I do think that like she's, this has clearly triggered some kind of mental health crisis that she's experiencing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think that doesn't make it
Right,
good.
exactly. But do you like believe like, okay, because she experienced this, like however it's showing up, however her trauma is showing up, like it's believable in a sense?
I
I mean, not as it in the extreme of like I'm gonna kidnap kids and
Sure.
but, yeah.
I mean, like, perhaps looking like going down an occult rabbit hole because, like, you experience something as traumatic as losing your child. Like,
Mhm.
you're gonna, maybe that's going to change your like entire worldview and like sense of,
Mhm.
everything. And so, like, that I feel like is absolutely believable, just like kind of recontextualizing everything
Yeah.
and trying to like make sense of it all and like how do you live your life now that this has like fundamentally changed
Yeah.
everything.
And to bring up the writers of this, they experienced a loss. I want to say one of their family members lost a 2-year-old, and they were commenting on how the grief of this mother, she couldn't get out of it, and it felt like she just was completely changed by this, and this was one of the reasons why they made this movie. They also experienced another loss. I believe a cousin passed away too, in this, and or no, sorry, it was a friend that passed away. And so they also comment on this movie being kind of cathartic for them to make, because of all the loss that they were dealing with, but they got the idea from their family member that lost their 2-year-old. So it's also interesting seeing the perspective of how they kind of cope with making this and getting that idea of not letting go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to like process grief, full stop. So,
Yeah.
and there's no like single way that someone, presents that experience. So like, I feel like that's why sometimes it's like, is this a thing? And it's like, really anything could be a thing.
Right. Yeah. Because anything goes, and it's like you said, it's not just one thing that happens. Like when you experience grief, these are what happens. This is what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to point out that very effective last shot of the movie with her in the pool. I just was like, and the cops coming. It's a very striking image to end the movie on, and end it on that and the grief and the like failure versus like her in the car. There's another version of this movie ends with her watching the plane go to heaven. You know what I mean? And that's the last shot. But it was very purposeful to do that last shot in the pool. And I imagine that moment in a movie theater. Just you can hear a pin drop. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was very striking, and I think that that is a lasting image I will take from this movie. And I love when certain images kind of like stay with me after films.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. My next question has to deal with Laura as a counselor, and obviously she's not coping.
Yeah, counselor time.
Counselor time. She's not coping with this in the most healthiest of ways. So another just personal question, Jamie. As a therapist, do you find that you are able to, kind of self-regulate when things come up for you in your own mental health?
Just kidding.
And how do you feel about therapists having therapists? And I'm curious, is there any stigma within the profession about being a therapist and having a therapist? Maybe just if there's pride that might get in the way because you're the one that people go to for help. So like, you might not seek help or feel that there might be something there to seek help. So yeah, just
Yeah.
question.
I mean, for one, like one of the first things that they told us when I got to social work school was like, you better all go to therapy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Very much like, please go to therapy.
Mhm.
You're gonna need it.
Oof.
But I mean, I do think that like, you know, there are a lot of professionals in this type of field or adjacent fields that aren't necessarily accessing that resource. And I think it's important to recognize that, like, just because you're a helper doesn't mean that you also don't need help sometimes.
Yes.
Because, like, it is really challenging work. And, like, especially when you're going through something very, both like intensely tragic and simultaneously very parallel to what you're doing at work. Like if she's a counselor working with like foster kids and also her kid just passed away, like that's
Yeah.
like it's going to be really difficult for you to do that work without taking care of yourself. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's really important to like, it's part of self-care. It's also part of enabling you to do better work with people. Because like, you know, when you let things go unchecked, it's coming out and like it is impacting your clients. It's not just like nothing is happening to them.
Yeah.
Even if you think that you're like compartmentalizing it, it's
Yeah.
still impacting them. So like paying attention to, you know, what's coming up for you and how you're working through it and how you're taking care of yourself, which includes therapy, in order to better serve your clients.
Absolutely.
And that's also like that goes both ways in the like, if you find yourself burnt out and like that's impacting your relationship with your clients, or also if you're feeling like, oh wow, I like really like this client and there's something about them that feels very like friend adjacent, like it could be positive, you know, that positive like stuff that's coming up for you, and you're like being more like there might be some boundaries being crossed, not in like a vastly deeply unethical way, but I think it's like a reflection of how you want to provide services as a provider. Like something that I've thought about a lot like earlier in my career is like, if I'm letting some people go over in time but I'm stricter with other people, like I'm not being fair to everybody, and I need to like be consistent. I want to be consistently good with everyone regardless of if I like them or if they're triggering something in me. And so like that's part of it too. And those are the things that you need to be aware of as a therapist and keep in check so that you keep doing the best work for everybody.
Yes, that just also brought up. Sorry, I'm going to ask another kind of personal question, but you were just like, if it's somebody that I like or somebody that might be triggering something in me, I know that we have had the conversation about the right fit as far as getting a therapist and what you like to do specifically if it might not be a right fit. But I'm also curious, like, in the most like layman's term, if just the vibes aren't there for a client that you might have, but it might not be something that's necessarily triggering you, do you still just keep that person, or are you still like, maybe this isn't the right fit because something's off like with you, even though there you might not be something like specifically triggering? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also why like outside of just getting therapy, there's also like consultations and supervision. So when you're when you're unlicensed or you don't have like the like final level of licensure, you typically need to be supervised by somebody else while you're doing that work. And it's just like a regular check in, whether it's weekly, whether it's individual. It could also be a group supervision where like a bunch of people are coming together and like talking through cases and challenges and things like that. But like that's another space that I also would highly recommend that somebody utilizes, because like sometimes things are coming up and you're like, I don't really know what I should be doing here. Like, I want to kind of bounce ideas off of someone else or get feedback or like kind of get more of a direction from someone outside of me.
For sure.
So that's like where those types of spaces I think can be really helpful. Because yeah, it's like sometimes you're just like in your own head and you're like, am I like thinking about this the right way? Or like, is there another, you know, like avenue that I could explore? And so I think having like, you know, peers or a supervisor can really help with like trying to figure out some of those things and like making sense of like whether the personal feelings that are coming up for me that I don't want to impact the work that I'm doing. Is this person the right fit for me? These are some of the stuff that came up in the first session. Maybe, you know, I need to offer referrals or whatever. So I think like processing a lot of that is helpful.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. And that's nice that there are those outlets that therapists can use to bounce, especially to bounce ideas off of each other. Because I mean, it's like the continuing education of it all, in a sense. Great. Producer Brian, you had a question about counselors that you wanted to ask? Yes.
I want to ask about Wendy. Do we think Wendy is a good counselor or a bad counselor?
No. Jamie's in deep thought about this.
I don't think she's the best because she's not really able to be like entirely subjective about everything. Like her hesitation of like his sense of alarm is just like really frustrating and like doesn't seem to be particularly like client centered or like him centered. And she's just basing it off of like, you know, a pre-existing information that she has of both of them. Like, I think that, like, for example, when I meet with somebody new, I have them fill out intake paperwork. And it's just like, you know, an overview of like, what are you looking for in therapy? Have you been in therapy before? Things like that. And I've also worked in spaces where like people's past diagnoses are a part of their intake paperwork, but I don't necessarily like take, like if it says like, you know, this person has a diagnosis of anxiety or depression or OCD or whatever, like I'm still meeting with them for me to get like my own sense of what's going on and like from them, right? Like it's not just like this is information that's been passed along. And I feel like you know, one of the things that like they say in therapist world is like you need to meet the client where they're at. And you know, that means that like you have to put your own shit aside. You have to put like all this other history aside. Like what is going on right now in this moment and like what can you do to support this person? And so like I don't really think that that's the approach that she was coming in with, but like I think eventually she got there. But it definitely like took a bit for her to finally take him seriously and not just be like, oh, well, you know, she's an old colleague of mine. Like she's great.
Right.
And like you have a history of like, you know, being violent and whatever. So like, I think that all of that is dumb.
Absolutely. Agree.
Also, like, you said therapist world. I would go to that theme park.
Ooh. I would too. Instead of tarot cards, it's like, you know, reading what the DSM-5 says about you. Yes. No, but that's a great point, Jamie. It's you can get the history of a client, but how are they now? And it seems like even though they don't say it, but that Andy's behavior was from years ago. So it's not something that like just happened last month.
Right.
Because he's like turning 18, and I think they said this happened when he was 14.
Yeah. So it's like years of him kind of, you know, on the straight and narrow path. And then for her to just take that bit of information and make that his whole identity as opposed to, like you said, meaning where it is. So that's a great point. Great. And my last thing, you've talked about this in your likes and gripes too, but just a general question about phobias, general question, just about phobias. Do they come from traumatic events? Because I'm thinking of like Andy not being able to get in the shower, though you've already said that that's more PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can just go into your thoughts about phobias versus PTSD, like what is the difference in it, and exactly what is going on with Andy, with him not, being able to be safe around water or showers or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I think that the biggest difference is like that. I hope I'm saying all of this right. I'm like so nervous. That
You got it.
PTSD has like it stems from something, like it like has like a triggering event, like a traumatic event that you experience, and then like after that, that's the like symptoms that you're experiencing are a result of that, which like a phobia could also potentially be stemmed from like something, but I think because we have more context, at least for the movie, like it's more likely that it's a traumatic response. And like the water, it's like another characteristic is like repression of like trying to avoid reminders, but still having like flashbacks. And so I think that him being a little avoidant of the water, and then also like that experience where he goes in the shower and he sees his dad, like all of that I feel like is more pointing in the direction of PTSD as opposed to like a phobia.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Especially just the fact of like not wanting to have reminders. I thought that was a great way to put that. It's like, I don't want to have the reminder of this, but you could, so you remove yourself from that situation, but you can still have like the flashbacks of it. Yeah. Great. That's all that I have for that. Should we Rotten Tomato this?
Yeah, let's do that Rotten Tomato.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Okay. What do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes? Jamie, let's start with you.
78.
Okay. Nikisha?
Yeah, I'm going to say 74.
This has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 79% popcorn meter, which is the audience score.
Cool.
The critics' consensus is a domestic nightmare that draws its most profound scares from Sally Hawkins' deranged performance. Bring her back in his exemplary chiller that reaffirms directors Danny and Michael Philippou as modern masters of horror.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to ask this, but is that a higher score than Talk to Me?
Oh, I'll check after this.
Yeah.
Then the audience score is Bring Her Back as a harrowing motion picture that may gut the bravest of horror buffs, reiterating that the brothers are here to stay.
I mean, I definitely want to see more from them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I will be in the theater whenever the next one comes out.
No, Talk to Me is higher. Talk to Me is 94.
Nice. Okay. I mean, great start for the both of them having these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feature films.
Cool. All right. Let's do Letterboxd. What do you think this has on Letterboxd? Jamie, why don't you start?
A 3.1.
I'm gonna say 3.5.
This is a 3.7.
Wow.
Average. And the top reviews, most popular reviews are as follows. Number 3. I came here to be a scared bitch, not a sad bitch.
That's correct. Yes.
Number 2. Video tutorials make everything so much easier.
I like that.
That one really got me.
Yeah. And the number one most popular review for Bring Her Back is pissing someone else's pants is diabolical.
I literally used P. I mean, I said P diabolical in my notes.
We've
That's
watched
wild.
we've watched 2 movies this year where someone else has peed on somebody else to make it seem like they peed them pants.
They peed them pants.
What was the other one?
The rule of Jenny Penn.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
He peed them pants.
Yeah.
Yes,
I didn't
my
even
pants
say
in my
anything
mind.
about that because I've mentioned before that I don't like pee-pee pants.
Yeah, pee pee
but-
pants.
That's
But
wild.
I don't like pee-pee pants, but I really don't like when people pee themselves and you watch it. Like
Yeah,
that really bothers me.
Yeah.
Anyway, no pee-pee pants.
No pee pee
No
pants.
pee-pee pants.
All right. I still like. I came here to be a scared bitch, not a sad bitch.
Same.
That
That's
one
number
is
one for
so
me.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we do the 4 S's?
Yes.
Skull, scare, shakes, and suggestions. The Talking Horrors 4 S's.
The 4 S's are skulls, scares, shakes, and suggestions. We are going to rate this movie based on those categories. Skulls is how well this handles mental health and human behavior, 1 through 10. Scares is how scary was it, and then shakes is can you shake it off? Is this a one and done? And then we will go through our suggestions. Jamie, why don't you start us off?
Sure. For skulls, I'm giving it a 4.5 because while I do think that there's like some really good depictions of like grief and trauma and gaslighting, I think that my big gripe of like the lack of communication just doesn't feel how people would interact, and like that really eliminated several points for
Sure.
me.
Totally.
And then for scares, I gave this a 4 with an asterisk because Brian watched this movie separately without me, and then I just told him to spoil the movie for me. So I like
Obsessed.
more or less knew what was going to happen. However, I still was pretty grossed out by a lot of the things that happened. So it still got me. I wasn't like but
what were you not like?
Ah! Oh, that's
yeah,
amazing.
but yeah, gross nonetheless. And then
Gross.
for shakes, I'm also giving this a 4. I know I literally watched this movie today, a few hours ago. I guess for people in the future listening to this, I watched it the day that we recorded. But it didn't like hit me the way that Talk to Me did. So yeah, I also feel like that's partially because like the internet is just becoming such an irritating place to be exposed to when it comes to movies and hype for movies. Like it's so annoying. And I'm just over everyone being like, this is the scariest movie of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was fine.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we need to stop overhyping things.
I
Yes.
totally agree.
Totally.
So that's me.
Yes. Okay, I gave this a 6 for Skulls just because it's, trying to cater to the psychological thriller of it all. So I'm fine with how people are moving about. I'm giving this a 7 for Scares because this is a body horror. I won't forget it. And I'll give this a 6.5 for Shakes because I won't forget this movie, scenes from it, the premise of it. Like, would I suggest it to people? I don't know. But I know that I won't be able to shake this off.
Cool.
Yeah.
I also gave it a 6 for Skulls. I gave it a 5 for Scares because of the body horror stuff for sure. and also how uncomfortable a lot of those gaslighting scenes made me feel.
Mhm.
And then I gave it a 7 for Shakes, for the same reasons that Nikisha mentioned. Like, I'll remember this, a lot of things about this movie, some of the images and all that stuff, and I thought it was pretty good. So I'll go with the 7.
Great.
Suggestions, Jamie. Why don't you start?
So these are my suggestions. I was like gonna give
Okay.
some kind of thing, but I think there were parts of this that kind of reminded me of the taking of Deborah Logan in terms of like just a progression of possession, if you will. Oh, that's catchy.
Ooh, say it again.
Progression of possession.
Oh,
We like it.
it's good. It's like a Schoolhouse Rock song.
Progression of possession.
Yeah.
We should do a Schoolhouse Rock for horror stuff.
Please.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
Put
Make it
on
so.
your chapstick and get out of town.
Put on your chapstick. Absolutely.
Oh God. It also gave me incantation vibes in terms of like
Oh, sure.
a ritual.
Yes.
But
And not
then
the ritual. A ritual.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then last, it also gave me When Evil Lurks vibes because fuck
Sure.
them kids.
Fuck
And
them
those are my
kids.
suggestions.
Cause of them kids. That's
Fuck them
wild
kids.
behavior. Wait, but did you end up watching the movie? Did we cover it? When Evil Lurks?
When Evil
What
Did we
Lurks?
cover it?
No, we didn't do it.
No, we didn't
Right.
cover it, but I did watch it.
Okay. Because I think at first you hadn't watched
I
it.
haven't.
Was
Both
it?
of you had
Yes.
watched it, and I was holding
Yes.
out, and
Yeah.
I was like, I need to just watch this movie, and then I did, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. I thought the
Yeah.
other one that he made is scarier.
Oh,
Terrified.
sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Cute. Okay. Walk with me here. Sleepaway Camp. Only
Oh.
because when Ollie is first depicted, I'm like, there's something going on that feels very like this was a guy girl transformation situation, like
interesting.
in Sleepaway Camp. So like that's the first vibe until I found out like who he was. But I'm gonna keep that suggestion. Orphan, just for like the dynamic of fostering a child and that whole vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing, another fostering situation, and this has like horrible ratings, but I enjoy it. The Glass House. If you have not seen that movie, it's like 2001, and it's about these two siblings, their older sister and a younger brother whose parents die in a car crash, and the parents' friends end up adopting them. And chaos ensues, and there's of course sinister behavior, but it just reminds me of that. So The Glass House, if you have not seen that movie, more of just a psychological thriller than a horror, but along the same vibes.
Oh, that's with Lily Sobieski.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but I think it has like a 20 on Rotten Tomatoes. But I remember watching that movie at a way too young of age, and I will
on VHS in like the basement.
Well, like it was on like VH1. They would play
Oh,
it.
sure, okay.
And I would just sit and watch it every time, and I'm like, this is wild and crazy, or like Lifetime or something. And
yeah.
I would just sit and watch it. Great, producer Brian, what are your suggestions?
Talk to me, obviously, but I would actually suggest watching Speak No Evil, bleak kind of the original one, not the American made one, the original one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
Nice. Okay, well, that wraps up our episode of Bring Her Back, and you can follow us. You can follow us on the socials, Instagram and TikTok at Talk Horror Pod. And producer Brian, where can they listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever you get podcasts. That is things like YouTube. Hi, YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And thank you.
And thank you. Wait, I forgot. I forgot how to do it. How?
Oh no! I think you did it right. Like this.
No, that's a regular heart. I'm doing it wrong. Oh, there we go. I got it. We got it back, guys.
Yeah.
Don't
we
worry.
got it
We
back.
got
I
it.
am.
Basically,
I am
rolling.
cool again. Look at me, Utes.
We're doing
I
the
am.
Gen Z
I fit
My
in.
fingers don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, but I also love how in the reactions it will not recognize this heart, but will recognize the millennial heart.
Oh
To give you
yeah.
hearts.
Mhm.
I
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Also, I would like to request that we end this episode with Alfie Bow singing "Bring Him Home," please,
Alfie Bo.
so that people will.
I probably won't add it, but that just that
It's like, how about no?
the people will have to look it up on YouTube.
Look it up on YouTube. It's excellent. He sounds fantastic. But thank you all so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.